This is the biggest story unfolding before their eyes.
Of a UFO battle in orbit around Earth.
I believe that's 04, please.
Welcome back to AussieUFOnews, and today we are covering the Peru Mummies once again, because I think this is the biggest underrated story going around at the moment, and the media tried their best to cover it up in conjunction with the Peruvian government. But this story leads to much more than just an archaeological discovery, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. The connection between the J-type mummies and the M-type mummies that they call the hominins. Jesse Michels' video, I thoroughly endorse it, and definitely go check that out. I'll leave it in the description below, and then I'll explain to you the connection I made through watching Jesse Michels' documentary about the Peru mummies. Before watching this, if you want to go check out Jesse Michels' documentary, it'd be a good thing. But without further ado, let's get into this video and see my perspective on what I've picked up from Jesse Michels and the Peru mummies. Okay, so the first thing, if this was a hoax, this is better than any artwork ever created in the entire history of human masterpieces of artworks. The level of detail and realism in this biological specimen, which it most likely is, it would take incredible means and some sort of futuristic 3D printer to be able to print the interior arteries and tendons of this biological species to make it appear realistic to health professionals, biologists and doctors.
I told them to put in parentheses, or this is the most sophisticated hoax ever.
Right. If this is art, if someone made this, I need to buy one.
yeah.
Secondly, there are petroglyphs all over the area of Nazca, Peru, and the famous Nazca lines that carbon date back to the exact same time period as when these mummies were biologically dated to have died. Tell me that's not uncanny. The history here is connecting up a deep secret history that has been covered up from the human race and that is slowly emerging with the open-minded new generation of doctors, researchers and civilians that are discovering connections in the subject to extraterrestrials and the connection to prehistory. Thirdly, some of the J-types are pregnant with eggs in their stomach. Some of the M-types actually have a humanoid fetus with an enlarged skull that obviously was growing at the time of death. Even the position of the hands of the M-type mummy shows that it was holding onto its enlarged pregnant stomach at the time of its death. That is basically impossible to hoax. It just defies logic. Like, this would be an extreme level of ability to go into this level of detail. It's just unthinkable.
Perhaps one of the wildest revelations, Montserrat, one of these tridactyl M-type hominid-like beings, might also have a fetus inside of it that is a three-fingered tridactyl being. This would imply a genetic match and phenotypic inheritance between a baby and a mother.
So if you had the tomography, the x-rays, the 3D reconstruction, you had all of that, say take out the 3D reconstructions, you just had the raw measurement data that you got.
Yes.
If you sent that to a normal doctor, who is used to evaluating the health of a fetus in a womb of any mother, would they say, oh, that baby only has 3 fingers?
Yes.
So now I hope you're thinking a bit more into this and realizing that the cover-up of the hoax at the airport was all constructed to cover up the actual story of this real biological finding of these two different breeds of biological species.
Peruvian scientists have confirmed supposed alien mummies are in fact dolls made from bones. The dolls were originally seized in the capital Lima in October last year. Scientists say there is no truth to the theory aliens helped build ancient Incan landmarks like Machu Picchu, calling the ideas fairy tale.
In early 2024, Reuters published this about the Nazca mummies. They're not extraterrestrials. They're dolls made from animal bones from this planet, joined together with modern synthetic glue. Between these wooden figurines and these real anatomically consistent whole bodies was reported on by Reuters and other esteemed legacy publications. It's at that point that the story became a laughingstock.
Here we are.
Oh, I love this. I love these.
There you
Two
go.
of them.
What is that? I don't know.
Jesse, man. Bro. Shit's getting real, bro.
The real story is that this gravedigger, Leandro, found the bodies in 2015.
So this must have been completely full of bodies.
I've got to a conclusion and a hypothesis where I think the J-types, which are the smaller, strange-looking, more faker-looking beings, but that also have the egg sacs in their stomach, showing that they were pregnant. And it's strange that they're buried together with the M-type, larger, more humanoid-looking beings. If you go into ancient indigenous cultures with their Dreamtime stories and myths about supernatural interactions, these three-fingered beings keep coming up again and again in these stories. And then in hieroglyphs, petroglyphs, they're everywhere throughout ancient history. What if the J-type were actually extraterrestrial grey aliens, the classic ones you hear in all sorts of UFO abductee testimonies? There's even been a case in Russia where one was found and recorded by two teenage boys that spotted this biological creature and was completely covered up by the Russian government.
Just 1 month later, in that same region of Siberia, two Russian guys come upon an alien body in the woods.
What the hell is lying there? I don't know.
They filmed the body and uploaded it to YouTube. That video has 12 million views on it. The two guys who found this body were taken in by the police, questioned, and apparently confessed to hoaxing it with breadcrumbs, plasticine, and chicken skin. Again, we know a similar accusation was made about Manuel Caceres' fake creations. So could that too have been a cover story? And it's absurd just how much this being looks like the Nazca Peruvian J-types. And the beings from Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a movie that Ronald Reagan watched in the White House.
Isn't it exact an image of these J-type mummies? In terms of its facial features, its body structure, everything. Even its skin looks kind of humanoid, as you can see its veins and stuff underneath the thin layer of skin. It also matches up with the famous Varginho case with the UAP crash retrieval that happened there, and the alien being with the big red eyes that was bent over that had 3 fingers and 3 toes. Again and again, this 3-fingered, 3-toed, small grey alien keeps popping up again and again through UFO history. What if these classic grey aliens were the things that were interbreeding with humanoid species on Earth? And this was a result of the grey aliens and the humanoid species hybridization experiment or plan to create a human race on Earth? What if the grey aliens created us and we are related directly to them? It would explain a lot, because our ancient history, and I'm talking about our real pre-ancient history, is completely covered up and disregarded, ridiculed if you ask any questions about it. Because as soon as you start looking into the facts about our ancient prehistory, you keep coming back to extraterrestrials. I believe this was a huge finding in the connection between extraterrestrial species creating us, like the famous Y gene that modern biologists cannot explain. Is the Y gene the extraterrestrial grey alien gene that was put into our DNA to create the modern Homo sapien? I think this documentary reveals a lot about the origins of the human race. Share it around if you learn anything today from us at AussieUFOnews, and shout out to Jesse Michels, the #1 man in the UAP field, and also UAP Gerb. Check out his YouTube channel because he's really onto the factual data and declassified files relating to the UFO subject. Also, go over to Instagram and share this video, comment in the comment section what you think, and I'll see you on the flip side.